difference with these two, please? It's hard to tell. Okay. You may or may not see this video soon after it has been filmed. We're filming just before going into February, and this year has already went by so fast. It's just, oh, it's so scary. Help. I'm trying not to compare my progress to where I think I should be. That's a whole other video, and I'm just looking forward to what else the year has to bring. If anyone wants to correct me on how you are meant to wear a beret, I will not be offended. I will happily take the constructive criticism on board. I have worn this once out. I think I wore it a completely different way. It was more off my forehead, but I think it's meant to be further down at the back. Keep the comments rolling, please. As of filming, the time is currently 7 minutes to midnight, and in the words of Madame Joyce herself, as she said on her recent New Year's vlog, procrastination can just go out the door. Procrastination, out the door. Not welcome here. I was meant to film this earlier, but I'm happy it's getting done nonetheless. Just had my tea and I've been snacking on these as well. Am I the only one who leaves the strawberry ones last? Wasn't a fan. A wee bit of a sugar rush before filming. It would be rude not to. When I started this channel, I didn't foresee face filming for a lot longer than when I have begun to do it. So excuse the backdrop is very exciting. A little side note, if anybody has any book recommendations, I will gladly take them in. I have been enjoying reading more recently and definitely getting more into reading and venturing out with what genres that I enjoy reading. This is one on my list which I'm going to read next. If you are someone, however, who does not like, I believe it's realism, I possibly will do the odd book review. My channel won't be focused on it just because I've not read enough to say much, but I'll put my 2 pence in, as I often say, on reading. This is one that I read recently. Amazing book for people that want to get into reading. This is the one that I picked up after years of not touching a book. The books on my shelf had dust on them. I had not read in so long since this one, so I would really recommend this. I wish I could say it properly though. The house in the... Honestly, I'm not even going to include the pronunciation that I just attempted of this book. But yeah, book reviews, send them in. I would really appreciate them. Hello everyone, I'm so grateful to have you here watching this video unfold. I know that I did not introduce the video yesterday, hence why I figured that I would show you the footage whilst I speak over the video today in form of a voiceover, and giving you a general rundown of the day and evening out in Glasgow. Have the beret on, very fitting for yesterday, as my mum and I went to Vine and Canvas and the Opium. I'm yet to watch the footage back from yesterday anyways. I did figure initially that it would be more of a vlog style voiceover. I just didn't expect me to get the camera out every 2 seconds to film. The original plan of action yesterday was to film my day and evening out in Glasgow when going to Vine and Canvas. However, I did get minimal footage of yesterday. I'm yet to watch this back as well. The majority might just be me chatting. We shall see. I've been trying to venture out with the vlog style content and I'm enjoying it. We're now on the last day of January. I am trying to film a few videos beforehand before I post myself to the internet. I received a lovely message there. Storage is full. So just had to rummage about, delete most of my apps, well, offload majority of them, delete a couple, and I shall try to make this as condensed of a video as I possibly can. Just a side note, I'm still figuring out where to look on the screen. So I'm like, the camera's here, but I'm looking in the center of the viewfinder, the main screen. I'm so used to hearing people say the viewfinder who have like Sony camera, Canon G7 Mark II camera. We went to the Opium for the first time, the restaurant. The outside of the restaurant had some admirable scaffolding over. I like at least 70% of Glasgow has scaffolding, and entering into the restaurant was just as aesthetically pleasing as the outside of it. So I was glad about that. And the restaurant also offers fusion dishes. Back to film some more after deleting 6 gigabytes of storage. In terms of the order, cue the clips. It was tough choosing, I have to say. Had the Thai prawn crackers to start. We got the XO scallop dumplings, the crispy duck rolls, along with a jasmine tea, which was served in this beautiful pot as well, and the wee tea mugs, which were so cute. Chicken teriyaki, the Shanghai gyoza. Somebody correct me, please. This is another one. Brace yourself. Har Gau. Putting it all in the description for those interested. This jasmine tea, amazing, amazing. 10 out of 10. For those who have not tried it, please do if you get the chance. I would have ordered more, however I was feeling awfully stuffed, especially after the dessert as well. The staff at Opium were very much on the attentive side. Following on from that, if you're someone who doesn't go out every 3 days or twice a week, I'm not sure who does this in this living crisis that we're in. For those who do, great. I know I can't be the only one who doesn't. And little things like the attentiveness of staff, the friendliness of staff really go a long way. I feel like, especially if you're waiting, you're looking forward to going out and doing something, and when it comes, it's like rudeness of staff, and like I've had that I can count on my hand like when it's been rude. I'm sorry, that makes my experience anyway. Now, if you two are somebody who likes having a nosy on the menu beforehand, the desserts are not on the website online, however they do offer them if you are interested in having a dessert while you are there. We had booked in advance and managed to get a seat next to a window, which was a bonus when considering that sometimes when eating out in the past, you may have the luxury of having a toilet on your left hand side, and to your right is a lovely shelf, or it'll have wine on it or a drink holder, and the life of the party is all the way over this wall, and you feel like you're part of the restaurant, but you're not. The layout of the Opium was lovely as well. The staff at Opium were very much on the attentive side, and they were very efficient when bringing out the dishes. All the dishes were served in these lovely baskets, and the duck rolls were on lovely plates as well, in a more like tapas style I would describe the baskets to be. I was debating between the crabs and chive, or I was debating between the crab meat and chive dumplings, or I'm just gonna put this one on the screen. It mustn't just be me who is virtually obsessed with a hot drink this time of year. This time of year, any time of year, but I've really noticed it. Like, it's went from here to always doing it within the space of a few months. I mean, I will have a tea, coffee, hot chocolate, same day, no bother. I wonder if I will upkeep this in the summer, but I mean, this is my hot chocolate. I was going to the Falls of Peck a few days ago, as you will see in an upcoming video. As I was on my way there, I noticed storage is full. Okay, cool. So I go to delete videos. Along with the videos, bearing in mind I've only imported half of the footage, me talking about Opium the restaurant, forgetting to import the footage of talking about the painting segment. I tell you what, it was not there when I went to edit it later on that day. This is the first time I have encountered refilming, so there's that. And I'll be giving you the insight into going into I will now be delving into, again, on going to Wine and Canvas in Glasgow after the restaurant.
I'm in my bad beat era.
We made our way down to 15 Hope Street, which was surprisingly a 15-minute walk from Opium, which was amazing, super useful, especially if you're running it a little bit late on time. At this moment, I was super excited and enthusiastic to show off my artistic abilities whilst wearing my beret on the day. The concept of Wine and Canvas was established in 2016, still fairly new. It also happens to be the only paint and sip studio in Scotland, which is amazing, the only permanent paint and sip studio. Heather Ferguson is who directed the paint and sip Wine and Canvas painting class. I shall also link her description. I shall not forget to link her website as well as Wine and Canvas website in the description for anyone interested. I shall indeed put up some photos surrounding me on Heather Ferguson's work. I love all of these, in particular the owl, and that's definitely one of my favourites that she's created. As Heather said, Edinburgh has had a few temporary paint and sip classes, however this is the only permanent paint and sip studio. I absolutely love the idea behind it. As you can see now, when we got into the painting studio, there were the artwork surrounding us. It was very motivating, inspiring, just based off of the colourfulness, vibrancy of the paintings. They really, in particular, the one looking out through an arch onto the sea, and I also loved the elephant with the flowers on it, and the Highland cow, the colourful ones, which is most of them, which is pretty much all of them. Artist, whose name is Virginia Peck. Artwork around me. Her paintings are breathtaking, some of them equal to reaching 10 foot in length. 10 foot. So they're extremely detailed and very precise. Just give that pointillism effect, and it appears very, very textured, and given I wonder how long she took on it. She took to paint the Buddha, so this was the original one that we worked from as well. Imagine that this is 10 foot length. I wonder where you can see the actual her artwork. Just wow, I was really taken aback. The starting time for us for the paint and sip class was 4:30 on a Sunday. However, booking during the week, I believe, is 7. The starting time is a little bit later during the week, however, from beginning at 7:30, and it will usually last for approximately 2.5 hours. You will have her artwork at the front of the class. You will look at it and follow on as best as you can. As for the wine, you have the option to opt for wine or soft drink. There is a range of soft drinks to choose from for those who do not consume alcoholic beverages. However, I did opt for the Merlot, which was my favourite out of the two. So you're given 2 types of wine for those really enthusiastic to try to have wine whilst you're there, just sweet or dry wine. So it's quite nice you get the option out of the two. For the painting and art supplies used, it was a blank white canvas measuring approximately A3 size. You had a large flat brush to initially cover the dark areas of the page. Then progressed on to the medium brush, which was used for the stippling effect, and the slightly lighter colours from what was used in the large flat brush. Lastly was the ultimate stippling pointillism brush, which just was the small pointed tipped brush. I'm sure that there's a more artistic name for it, and this was my attempt of doing the stippling technique on the darker areas of the page. I felt as though I did get the hang of it, and I ensured to go round the sides of the canvas because that's easy to forget. I just felt like that just made it look that bit more professional, if you will. It's a walk, not sprint, but I did want to leave with something that I felt like I had put in a substantial amount of effort into. The stippling technique which we did is similar to pointillism, which is, I'll insert Monet, who everyone I'm sure is familiar with if you are into painting. He does include pointillism in a lot of his work, as you can see with the trees and the leaves and just in the background as well. Some more examples of the stippling technique. I found the brushes really easy to use overall, and you were given 2 paint palettes, which was even better. Just made it that bit easier to mix the colours. There are hair dryers as well at your convenience. So you had 3 brushes, which in my opinion provided enough to cover the class, enough tools to ensure that your painting was at the best ability it could be. Obviously using other techniques like a sponge would have been really nice. I've done that in the past, so if you are really keen, you could do that at home or do that out with the class. I'm not sure if it's different tools every class, but if not, then I felt as though what you could achieve in the 2.5 hours you were there. Hours did run over until 3 hours, but what you could achieve in that time frame, I would say, is great considering the number of brushes and the canvas that you're given to work on. I feel like the saying trust the process definitely played on my mind throughout the session, considering that by the time I had got to the medium brush, I had already lost the Buddha's nose, which those on the table were having the same issue. So we were sat further back, so there's two separate tables. The ones nearer did get a more zoomed in view of her work, but she does bring the painting to each table during the breaks. You haven't got to go up even, so that's even more convenient. So it's definitely very accessible to see, provide a comparison between yours and her work to see if you've missed anything and to get some feedback from her as well. If you were like my mum and I, who had the Aldi bag at hand, so if you were to come, the paintings are A3 in size, so just remember to bring a Tesco or Aldi bag if possible. You haven't got to worry about the painting being wet because there's every tool you could possibly need there, along with being surrounded by beautiful artwork by Heather, so what more could you ask for? I liked how Heather referred to her saying, which she uses in her classes, being that progress makes progression instead of progress makes perfect, because as she said, there's no such thing, which I do believe. I feel like it's very discouraging if you're in that environment and it's like no constructive criticism is there. You feel like whoever is taking the class, the hostess of the class or the host of the class, is not very inclusive or willing to help you. That's very ultimately everyone there was very kind and friendly and supportive of one another, and she had a very calm aura and still in it. And she does have a very friendly and motivating energy about her. It definitely felt helpful to gain some constructive criticism during the breaks. I felt like I could have stayed there for at least 5 hours, honestly, given how quick it went by. I would have happily continued to work on my stippling technique for a few more hours. It did not feel like the time spent there was how long it actually was. I believe a group photo was posted over on the Instagram. Here it is. I'm really enjoying putting images on the screen. Really enjoying editing. I'm so excited to edit this. Really in my element, just in my depth, editing in general, love it. We had a wonderful time out. I know that I certainly did, and my mum was happy with how hers turned out as well. It was a really wholesome day, and I feel like I don't have them often, so when I do, I appreciate it. But the fact that we were doing painting class as well as the lovely food before definitely made the day that bit more special. I could not be saying this without the company who was joining me as well. All in all, I was super pleased with how my Buddha turned out. Insert I was very happy with it, and I would definitely go back. I'm just going to book a class hopefully next month to go back in, so I'm oomphed. I overall found the painting class to be very therapeutic and really enjoyable, really engaging. There are many breaks, so if you're someone like myself who does take their time, you feel it's quite fast paced, it can be overwhelming at parts, you get a lot of breaks. You will quickly catch up. It will be like at ease. It will just fly by. The class absolutely went by so quickly. I was not expecting that. I don't even know if I'd enjoy it that much, considering I had not painted for a good few years properly with acrylic painting on a canvas. I booked through their calendar on the Vine and Canvas website, which you do in fact see the upcoming painting classes 1 month in advance. They do offer a range of painting classes from glow in the dark studies, paint your pet days, landscape, with using acrylic paint, watercolours, you name it, they probably have it, portraiture as well. I'm personally more keen on the landscape side of painting. However, if I did fancy even more of a challenge itself than keeping up with the time speed of everyone else, if I fancied a challenge on top of that, I would happily try out the portraiture as well. I will pop up the ones that are my personal go-tos that I would go and paint. I would love to just do another like a landscape Afrimov winter walk if that one is brought back. That's just looked amazing. Trees, anything with flowers on it, with a lovely sea in the background with the archway, or even elephants or other animals. I had an amazing time out. If you're interested, I've put everything in the description. For the 786th time, I mentioned that in this video. For those who did not hear it, I've said it again. Thank you for staying by me, and I shall hopefully see you again